Thank you, thank you. Well, look, that's my question. So let's do the questions that people have asked. So John was first up, John Spellman, who I used to work with years ago, and he's asking for comments on the changes that you see with the evolution of AI and agentic AI into the GBS industry. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say what I'm noticing, at least within the work that we are doing, is we are still in very early stages to clearly understand where we might go about applying agentic AI. We do believe that it will add significant value in how we go about serving the sectors and functions. So, what we are doing at this point is building a very good portfolio by looking at what might be the places where we can reimagine our processes and services that are in our scope with the intent of finding the most high impact opportunities. And we are also doing some small pilots to prove it. I do believe that it is one of those capability areas that will have a profound impact on GBS in the future. But that's my hypothesis, and more work to be done to prove that through some of the work that we are going to be doing in the experimentation phase
Mm.
before we go through adoption. And we're working very closely with our technology partners and what this means, what technologies to use, and all that as well.
If I may, just to, very quickly, and by the way, Ajay is absolutely right. He's one of my go-to persons because the
Ah,
combination of the vision and execution and technology. But I want to make one other point, which is there is a big difference between automation and AI. So the use of AI agents and agentic AI. AI agents are automation. They essentially take a given work process and they, truly help you automate it even more by decision making happening through agents. And this is obviously a current and available, big rich source of competitive advantage. Um, and then I want to separate that from agentic AI, which is, I think, 100 times more powerful. And to the point that Ajay was making, everybody is dabbling. Nobody's really gotten there. But make no mistake, it is going to be 100% more powerful because agentic AI essentially takes any given outcome and it allows you to completely reimagine it using humans and robots and completely different work
mm,
processes.
mm.
And that's a lot harder, but it is a lot bigger in terms of price. So this is one of those reasons why we love this space. This is an incredible opportunity.
It's something that we've talked about a lot about how to deal with it as well in the standards because it's an evolving capability and something that's moving very fast. And just had a couple of Risha and Shane also um, chipped in with sort of sub questions on AI. So Risha saying, how can companies use AI? What are some of the learnings when implementing AI in the organization? And Shane, where's the biggest opportunities for automation or AI in service operations? Do you want to just address either of those questions quickly?
Yeah, I can start with the one from Richa around what some of our key learnings are. First and foremost, I would say it's developing a strategic mindset where you're not thinking about AI, Gen AI, Agentic AI as a tool, but rather a capability shift with very clear goals that is improving your outcomes. And we talked about the value of effectiveness, experience, efficiency. So how are you anchoring AI adoption and AI into your strategic business priorities?
Mm,
Getting strong leadership support is extremely critical. How do you go about prioritizing change management and communications? Because that's how you're going to help ensure that the employees are able to adopt this effectively. Creating a culture of learning. And then what we did, which worked really well for us, is establish a champions group of early adopters and community of practice that would help drive traction and becoming masterful storytellers. How do you take those success stories and say them in a way that employees and other stakeholders and senior leaders understand
mm.
what you did and how did that go about helping you? And highlighting those use cases. And then it's very important to use AI very responsibly. So we've got a very strong governance process in place. We ensure everything goes through that governance process, and we are training all of our employees on responsible use. So those are some thoughts that come to my mind. I'm sure, Tony, you've got a few thoughts that you would like to add as well.
No, perhaps I can take the other question from Shane, which is, what are the biggest opportunities? And here's what I would say. The acceleration of opportunities that you see is primarily in, the finance, the supply chain, and interestingly enough, I think in the human resources areas, through continued operations, automation of the operations. What's different is that, if you take a process like, order to cash or even procure to pay, there is a framework that has said that even with the best platforms and best of operations, the best in class company was only able to automate only about 70% of those work processes. And that's basically because there was decision making that really you could not get past a certain point. I think what has happened is, that 70% is now become 80% through AI. So anything that essentially was about human touches, and there's still a lot of human touches. You look at where are most of the shared services people and BPO partners being used. Look at the FTEs there, and those are the biggest opportunities for AI in particular to touch. Because previously we needed those people because we needed humans to make some decisions. That's where I'm seeing a lot of the newer wave of automation start to help. So, for example, approval processes, reconciliations in finance, vendor setup and payment processes, or even, hiring and performance management processes. All of those really needed an army of people, and all of those are the place to start.